bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Yeah. How you doing? How you doing? Yeah. Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Tuesday, May 4th. It's Wednesday, May 4th. I don't know what's going on. I'm in a time warp. "125 days into the new year, 239 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. I'd like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. For KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planets. I'm your so humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Excited? You guys fired up? You know I am, because tonight we have the one and only original gangsta. John Lear is with us. Oh, man. You ready? Call the number is 323-825-5045. And don't forget, tomorrow night is Fader Night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. If you're over on the website right now, go click, follow, like, subscribe, get it all done. Do all three at once. That's what you should do. You can also email throughout the show tonight. Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. On Twitter, use the hashtag F2B. That is the sandbox. Any question or comments during the show tonight? And there will be many. Hashtag F2BQ for questions. All right. Life Change Tea. Man, I have been doing the powder delivery of colostrum LD. Absolutely incredible. In the morning, at night, I am doing the vanilla. And so is Rita. It's amazing. Get yours now. Just go to Life Change Tea. GetTheTea.com. The banners are right there at Jimmy Church Radio. Support the show. Support our sponsors. Help yourself. Use the promo code Jimmy when you order. There's all kinds of great specials over on the website. Go and do it now. It's amazing stuff. Studio Dome, surround sound, stereo, whatever you need right now, featuring TWS True Wireless Stereo Technology. It is the latest Bluetooth technology. The Fade or Not special is 2 SPB, 2 speakers, and power for $129 and a hard shell case. Use the promo code JCRTWS. Shipped out another ton of shirts today. What do you guys do with all of these shirts? I mean, seriously. My goodness gracious. But I love doing it. Absolutely love doing it. All right. And I'm only bringing that up because we were, how do I want to say this? in our collection of shirts, we've got a few thousand shirts, right? We've got, medium, large, extra large, 2XL, 3XL, 4XL, right? We go all the way up to 4XL. And the warehouse is starting to get a little cluttered and nothing was organized. So your faithful leader was out there going through stuff, complaining about, not being organized. And because we had so many to ship, but we actually got them all out today, and we lost a few hundred larges. I'm like, how is that possible, right? And I found one needed to ship 2, right? That doesn't work. Go back. Everybody gets XLs and 2XLs. I don't know why that is, or mediums. Those are the ones that ship the most. And but I needed one more XL or one more large, and then I find the 100 or whatever it was. Oh man. Anyway, so that was my day today. Welcome. This is Fade to Black. All right, Contact in the Desert is coming up June 3rd through the 6th in Joshua Tree, California. The biggest, best festival in the country is coming up June 3rd through the 6th in Joshua Tree, California. Now, I've got a little bit of a special announcement I'm going to make. Can I... May 4th is Be With You Day? Is it really? Oh, that's right. It's Star Wars Day. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I was wondering what all that was about going on all day. Happy Star Wars Day, everybody. Okay, Be With You Day. Rita, can I go ahead and make this announcement about the Fader party that we're going to have, the Fade to Black party? Can I do it? I'm waiting. I'm waiting for her to respond. And so anyway, the reason why, come on, Rita. Okay, she says I can. Okay, we have a house in Joshua Tree. Okay, check this out. Pool table, full action, everything, very nice pad. And on Saturday night in Joshua Tree, which is going to be, I think that's June 3rd. Is that going to be the 4th or the 5th, the 6th? So I think that's June 4th. Whatever that Saturday is, we're going to have a Fader party at this house for the Fader knots. All right? Now, we also have at this house, I think we have room for 2 more guests. And it's 3 miles away. It's on the 4th. I was just told. It's 3 miles. It's on campus. It's right there. And if you want to come hang out with us, get a hold of Rita. All right? And we'll make... Oh, she says 3 more. We have room for 3 more. It's a massive pad, and it's really, really nice. So if you want to come hang out all weekend with the Fader Knots and us and attend the party. And if you need verification about how we do it, just ask another Fader Knot. All right? It's legendary. So there you go. And I'm serious. So we got room for 3 more. All right? Saturday night, the Fader party is going to be there. All right? And let's see if somebody gets arrested. That's the whole point of doing all of this. Right after that is the Roswell Festival. 10,000 people in Roswell, June 30th through July 3rd in Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be broadcasting also from the Roswell Festival, just like we are Contact the Friday nights. And Roswell Festival is in Roswell. Travis Walton, Don Schmidt, Tom Carey, Peter Robbins, Alejandro, Daryl Sims. Got an email from him today. Stanton Freeman, Larry Holcomb. I cannot wait. Thomas Reed and many more are going to be there. All right, we've got tickets to give away to that event too as well. All right, all the links, all the appearances that we're going to be doing throughout the summer are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Now, I also have an announcement. We will not be appearing at the UFOs Within Reach conference in Big Bear. All right, we have had to pull out of the conference, and we apologize to everyone who were planning to go and hang out with us, but we have a scheduling conflict that has come up, and we cannot avoid it. It is just the way that it is. So we will not be at the UFOs Within Reach conference in Big Bear. All right, so we apologize to everybody about that. Yeah. Now, with that, let's get this show cracking. Today, Green Day bassist Mike Dirnt is 44. Lance Bass today is 37. Have you guys seen, I always talk about a Tropic Thunder. You guys seen Tropic Thunder? And Al Pacino, when he goes, did you say Lance? No, I said Nance. Sounded like you said Lance. I said Nance. I meant to say Nancy. Then at the end of the movie, he's holding hands with Lance Bass. Classic scene. Love Lance. Today he's only 37. Will Arnett today is 46. Love me some Will. And Mick Mars is 65. Our dead guy's birthday today is Audrey Hepburn, 1929 to 1993. Died at the age of 63. Starred in Roman Holiday with Gregory Peck. You know, that's pretty much an end of story right there, right? Breakfast at Tiffany's, Charade, My Fair Lady, Sabrina. Yeah. Upon returning from Switzerland in late September 1992, she began suffering from abdominal pain. And then surgery in early December, just a couple of months later, showed that cancer had spread too far inside of her to be operable, and that it was in its terminal stages. And then on the evening of the 20th of January, 1993, a month later, Hepburn died in her sleep at home at the very young age of 63. Roman Holiday. On this day in history, 1970, at Kent State University, 100 National Guardsmen fire their rifles into a group of students, killing 4 and wounding 11. Fader fact, villagers in central China have long been using dinosaur bones as medicine, thinking they were from, wait for it, dragons. That is a Fader fact. Yeah. All right, tonight, OG John Lear is going to be right here on Fade to Black. Call-in numbers 323-825-5045. Yeah, I'll open up the phone lines. I know you guys want to speak to the original gangsta, John Lear. And I want to remind everybody, tomorrow night's Fader night, open lines all night long. John Rappaport is going to be here and his No More Fake newsroom. Well, it's about that time of year. I got to talk about this. Did it last year, did it the year before. Just for some reason, this subject comes up around the net every once in a while, and you just got to revisit it because it was a remarkable time. And I'm speaking, of course, of Jack Schulman and ACC, the American Computer Company. Because back in 1996, 1997, the American Computer Company took over the internet. And if you were around back then and you were hanging out in the forums and Paranet and, you know, Jeff Rentz, what was his thing called back then? Sightings on the radio. Sightings. You knew about Jack Schulman and ACC because at that time, Corso comes out with his book, and in his book, and this is what happened. In Corso's book, amongst other things, Corso mentions that in 1947, as they distributed this alien technology from Roswell, from the crashed disk, that Bell Laboratories, gets the circuit board. And suddenly, they come up and invent the transistor. Okay? And by all accounts, 1947 was a seminal year for technology in general around the world. There's no doubt about that. But that's what Corso said in his book. I, as you all know, I worked for Bell Labs for about 3 years. right out of high school. And I was an artist there, not that big of a deal. I wasn't a scientist or anything. I was an artist. And my job at Bell Labs was stupid. I worked on graphics and lettering and for keypads. And that was my main gig. My main gig was that. I did other things too, but it was all art, pen and ink, and photography. So, darkroom stuff, negatives. And that was my gig. But what I did do at Bell Labs was hang out with all those brilliant minds and the scientists there. And I worked at the Indianapolis Bell Labs Indy, and which is part of, at that time, Western Electric. And but I did work at Bell Labs. So when this comes out in the Corso book, I was at Bell Labs, by the way, from 1981 until 1984, until I came to California. So when it comes out, Bell Labs, wow, that's interesting. And so I had a vested interest in this story because it's a heck of is it an accusation? I don't know what you would want to call that, but saying that Bell Labs didn't invent it, that it was alien technology, is a pretty bold statement, isn't it? So, I read it. I wondered why nobody was getting sued or anything. So, anyway, enter ACC, Jack Schulman, who was the president of American Computer Company. Now, what you can do, I'm watching Twitter now, anybody can go and search Jack Schulman, Shulman, and ACC, American Computer Company. It's all over the place. And so when you go back, this is what went down. ACC, and this is a story that is so nuts that you need to go, if you don't know anything about it, just go and research tonight after the show. Write this down. ACC, Jack Schulman, American Computer Company, alien technology, Roswell, whatever. And this is what happened. ACC started advertising all over the net that they had computers that were coming out that had alien technology. Oh, yeah. Right? That they had chips. Now, back then, the whole thing, Pentium chips were, I don't even think they were out in 1997, 1996. Right? And the march for speed was on back then. Not only with hard drives, but it was with dial-up modems. You had 28.8, and everybody was trying to get to, there was no digital anything, right? We had dial-up modems, and things were trying to get faster. And it was this race of technology 20 years ago. And ACC says that they have this alien technology from a flying disc. And it was in this chipset, amongst other things, too, in their circuitry. And they had this alien technology. Now, Schulman went on to not only get Corso's claims involved to verify the claims of American Computer Company, but he was planning to blow the whistle on the extraterrestrial source of the new technology that was, he said, was beginning to break into mainstream society. And he had said that Bell Labs executive Jack Morton was murdered, quite horribly, by the way, because he was planning to expose all of this. So Schulman went on to make all of these fantastical claims about germanium transistors that Bell premiered in 1948 was a decoy, and that the real breakthrough in this technology was a secret silicon transistor. And it went on and on and on. There were forums on the ACC's website that were heavily redacted and monitored and just out of control claims and accusations and people flying back and forth. And the prices for these ACC computers were not cheap, right? They had pictures of them, but they were never sold. we're releasing them again in 2 months. The date's pushed back, right? One of those things. And we're moving. And then it went into things like they were being broken into by the Air Force OSI, right? And that they broke into the offices, that they didn't steal anything, but they went through all of our data, and they need to know. And one of the things that Shulman did, Shulman actually went out on the UFO circuit for a minute. I'm not too sure where he is today, but, well, I have a little news on that. But anyway, he went on to say, this is from Shulman, said that it is risky for us at ACSA to be publishing it, talking about the technology. Though it is not the product of any work done by ACSA, it is a story that took years to assemble. It is provided to the ACSA by a special reporter. It is not just about one group's quest to find out the answer of an amazing question. Are or have aliens visited Earth over what time and period and for what purpose? And it's an incredible, incredible story. Now, just like today, what we're dealing with, and I'll give you an example. If there's so many, flat Earth, right? Flat Earth. Well, how can this, how can this be? Flat Earth was such a discussion up in San Francisco, and not in a good way, right? We're up there. I probably talked to 500 people that laughed about it, and but how can it catch on? Well, the ACC is the exact same thing. This alien technology that they were selling in their computers, and this went on for a long time. Computers, did they ever get sold? Allegedly, if my memory is correct on this, they said that they were selling computers without the alien chip, that you could buy that computer, and then when the alien chip was ready, they would send it to you and you could install it in your computer. But until then, they'll sell you a non-alien chip on a super fast computer anyway, and that the alien chip would just make it so much faster. I believe that those were the claims back then, until they just decided to give in, allegedly, to the pressures that were being laid onto them from Motorola, Lucent, AT&T, IBM, Dell, all of these so quote-unquote Rockefeller-connected companies. Yeah. And it really happened. The ads, the forums, the sensationalism of what was going on. Jack Shulman went so far as to make some of the craziest statements on the record. In the end, we don't even know if Jack Shulman was real. He sent a lot of faxes. He posted a lot on the forum. But was ACC ever real? Did they have a real building? Don't know. Did they ever really ship computers? Don't know. It was an incredible story. Now, we will have, I'm warming you up for this. I need you to go and do your homework and study, because we're going to have a guest on very soon to go over this entire charade. And it's an incredible story. One, to me, I think should be made into a movie. All right. A couple of things really quick before we get John Lear in here. The Navy SEAL, by the way, that was killed in an ISIS attack yesterday was Charles Keating IV. And if that name sounds familiar, and it should, he was the grandson of Charles Keating Jr., that guy. And when I heard the reports yesterday, I was like, wait a minute, Charles Keating IV? Yeah, Charles Keating, the lawyer and businessman who made millions in Phoenix real estate before he was implicated in the $150 billion savings and loan crisis that fleeced thousands of depositors with the help of U.S. senators. You remember this. He always insisted he had done nothing wrong, but he ended up serving time for fraud, racketeering, and conspiracy. The verdicts were later overturned, and he pleaded guilty to lesser charges. He died back in 2014 at the age of 90. But, man, did that brought the country to its knees for a minute. You remember that. And then U.S. Senator John McCain of Arizona, who was implicated in the scandal as well as a member of the Keating Five. But he was later cleared of wrongdoing. Yeah. All right. Well, I had to do this. In a happy Star Wars Day development, the original designer of the iconic scene of the hollow chess says that he is coming out with a real hollow chess. Special effects artist Phil Tippett is partnering with veterans of LucasArts video game studio to develop Hologrid Monster Battle based on the holographic chess game from Star Wars universe. With today's Kickstarter campaign launched, it happened today, Tippett and his team plan to eventually develop an augmented reality game based on hollow chess. While the technology for the genuine, freestanding, real holograms, it's still a ways off a little bit, even though I did see Tupac. The design team is hoping that the augmented reality can provide a convincing approximation. All right. The race to develop smart contact lenses with all kinds of crazy capabilities is getting more focused because Sony became a serious contender by filing a patent for self-powered contacts that could record what the wearer sees. Yes, sounding like the kind of tech that Alfred would give Bruce Wayne, right? The patent awarded to Sony in April calls for contact lenses that contain an image pickup unit and storage in the lens for recording either still or moving images. And I'm not making this up. And it's powered by your blinking. Yeah. How crazy is that? My question is, where do you plug in the USB cable? Ba-dum-bump. This is Fade to Black. I'm going to get out of here. When I come back, we'll be joined by OG John Lear. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I gotta tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil three-letter. So, seriously, Give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Klutsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fade-or-Nots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Want to remind everybody that tomorrow night, open lines all night long, and John Rappaport will be here with his No More Fake Newsroom. He owns it. But tonight, very excited, John Lear. The real John Lear. He is a retired airline captain, former CIA pilot, as well as the son of the famous inventor of the Learjet. He is a former Lockheed L-1011 captain and is highly regarded in aviation circles. He has flown over 150 aircraft, has earned every certificate granted by the FAA. John also held 18 world speed records and has worked for 28 different aircraft corporations. Then, of course, in the 1980s, 1990s, John began coming forward with revelations concerning the subject of aerial phenomena and unidentified flying objects. At that time, he was at the center of the known universe, and the chips started falling his direction. Of course, we're talking about Gene Huff, Bob Lazar, Area 51, and other events in his life. Absolutely remarkable life. And I would like to welcome to Fade to Black, the real John Lear. John, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Jimmy. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And John, welcome to the program. And I you know what, sir, I would like to actually start here. Going back to your childhood, going back to, say, Santa Monica, running around and doing things that kids do. Did you have any idea that in 2016 you would be on this radio program known as The Real John Lear? It's a pretty incredible life.
No idea then.
None at all, right?
Nope.
And the last week, and this is what's funny about this whole Real John Lear thing, this stuff popped up on Facebook. I picked up the phone and called you and said, John, there's another John Lear. We need to get the Real John Lear on Facebook. And this is something that is actually, real for you to experience, and what a life you've led. And I just want to say as we move forward with this interview. Thank you for all that you've done, and you've been there, and I've just got a million questions.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Now, I kind of I want to start here with you because we have so many different areas that we're going to go into tonight. But I want to kind of go back pre-Bob Lazar at 1988 and go back to 85 when certain things started to happen for you with UFOs and that part of the world started to enter yours. Did you have any experience? Did you have any sightings as a kid? Did your dad talk about this stuff? Or was it just a general interest and then things started to go a little crazy?
Well, it was a general interest, but what happened is in 1985 there was a reunion of Southeast Asia pilots here in Las Vegas. And one of the pilots, I think it was Greg Wilson, who ends, but he was over in Laos with us. He was a Raven, and he mentioned that he had been in Zone 810 out of Pathfinders. I said, I heard that story about the saucer being sighted then. And I said, was that true? And he said, oh yeah. He said, I didn't see it myself because I was confined to quarters, but I know the guys who did. And they told me that, it was a verified flying saucer.
Hey, John, we're losing you a little bit. Can you speak up into the phone?
Yeah, how about this?
Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. Go back to the reunion. Let's start over.
Okay. The reunion in Las Vegas was with the Southeast pilots that flew in Southeast Asia. And I ran into a friend of mine who flew 810s, and he mentioned that he flew out of Bentwaters. And since I had heard of that Bentwaters, I guess everybody did, the Bentwaters landing in Christmas of 1980, I said, well, that was supposedly where that flying saucer landed. And he said, no, not supposedly. It was for real. I didn't get to see it because I was confined to quarters. But it was real, and it did happen.
Yeah, John, we're losing your connection, man.
You're losing it right now?
Yeah, it's coming in and out.
Okay, remember, tonight I was going to say some real...
okay, now you...
Real interesting stuff that somebody doesn't want heard.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that besides taking out both my landlines, that they're going to try and undo this cell phone.
Yeah, well, now...
I'm not sure...
Yeah, right now you're sounding loud and clear. We got you back. Okay, so let's go back to Bentwaters. So he had told you, and this was somebody that you had flown with, that you knew personally.
Right, that was Greg Wilson.
Yeah, Greg Wilson. And he said that the Bentwaters event was a real event.
Absolutely. He named several people, one of whom was Larry Warren, and Larry came out and spent a few days with me and went on an art show with me.
Yeah, we remember that. Interesting. We've lost you again, John.
Okay, can you hear this?
Yeah, it's coming and going. Yeah, we're getting messed with, man. This is strange stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, in case you can hear while I'm talking, what I was going to tell you tonight, in addition to all the stuff that you had, is the fact that there's a civilization on the moon. There's 250 million people that live up there, and they're humans, but not humans like us, and they're not from Earth. They're from some other place, and they've been there for many, many hundreds of millions of years. That's what NASA is trying to keep quiet. And we hear that there's no air on the moon. That's complete baloney. There's breathable air on the moon. The people that live there, they trade with all the planets around us. actually, instead of the 9 that NASA says we actually have 40 planets around here, and all of them have civilizations on and in their planet.
And
the other thing I was going to mention is the biggest lies currently. One of them was hold on just a second here. The big lie was, I'm losing my mind. What was it they call that thing between Russia and the U.S. when they were having an argument?
The Cold War.
Cold War. The Cold War came around in 1947-48. That had nothing to do with Russia and the U.S. We were always friends with them. We always traded with them. What that was to keep people thinking about Russia being the enemy when it was really the ETs, and they wanted to be that. They wanted to keep that quiet. So what they do is they manufactured a Cold War between Russia and us. And some of the things that happened during then, you wonder why they happened. We built the SR-71 starting in 1956, and it's amazing. We had to go to Russia to get those wing sections that were made out of titanium, and the only place where there was a hydraulic press large enough to do it was Russia. So we had to send over to them to get those things made. Now, don't you think Russia would want to know where 60-foot wing panels were going? You know, and we say all these things that we hid it from Russia, and they didn't know what was going on, and we had this secret little town near Bakersfield where we had stuff shipped to so that they wouldn't know where it was going. I mean, who are they kidding?
Yeah, they definitely knew. Or they had, there was, one of the things about that whole titanium issue with what we needed to manufacture over here, there's no way that they would let the titanium go unless they knew what it was being used for.
That's right.
Am I right?
Absolutely.
Let's back up to the first bombshell there about the civilization on the moon and civilizations going on around the solar system and an additional 31 planets. There would be no way for anybody on Earth to verify or even check or look for additional civilizations out there. There wouldn't be a way for us to check on that information.
No, because they're hidden by mirrors. Anybody looking out that way is only going to be the reflection that they have this gigantic mirror that the ETs put up there to hide all those planets. But all of those planets have civilizations on them and in them. So there's 40 different civilizations plus all the civilizations inside of the planets and inside of the on and inside the moons that orbit around those planets.
Are you?
And the actual. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so if you and I, John, got to fly to the moon, right? Elon Musk would jump on SpaceX, right? And you and I cruise to the moon. Are you suggesting that we could literally step off of the lander without a helmet?
Absolutely, positively. And I have this bet with Bob Lazar. He said we're both going to stand in the airlock and we're going to open it. And he bets that I'm going to die without air. And I say no, because the air is breathable air on the moon, and that's where all those people are breathing from. And also they have all kinds of crops that they grow up there. There's lots of air up there. The actual air is figured by a mathematician is 68% that, or the gravity is 68% that of Earth's, not the the gravity is 6 times that of Earth. That's what NASA says, but it's not. It's way up there, and there's lots of air. So yes, if you and I go up in the spaceship and get out on the moon, we won't die because we'll have plenty of breathable air. And that's one reason why the Apollo missions could have never gone is because the gravity is 68% that of Earth's, and that would have been way too much gravity for the fuel that we had. You remember when Aldrin and Armstrong said that they landed with a minute's worth of fuel? Well, if they landed with a minute's worth of fuel, predicating it on six times the gravity of Earth, or sixth of the gravity of Earth, then they would have had trouble putting in that much fuel to get there, much less land, much less take off and come back. So that whole thing was an absolute hoax, as was Mercury and Gemini. They were all hoaxes too. They may have made one or two flights, but there's so much evidence that Mercury and Gemini didn't make all the flights. They were all rigged up.
Well, you've already won a few bets with Lazar, so I expect you to win this one too.
Yeah, I had the pictures of the moon that somehow, very strangely, so I got a picture I sent to NASA, one of the contractors, for a picture. I think it's Lunar Orbiter 261. I'm not sure. I have to look over there. But anyway, somebody in NASA, or the contractor, sent me a 16 by 20 negative instead of an 8 by 10 positive. And you could see so much. It was unbelievable. I took it over to Bob's and showed it to him. And I remember walking out of his house one day, and he said, "You know, John," I said, "What?" He said, "If any of this turns out to be true, I'm going to have to kill myself." And I said, "Well, no problem, Bob. I think I can prove it." So anyway, when I got we got a 20 by 25 photo enlarged of the moon, of the north part of Copernicus, and there's so much there in the photo that I had in the negative. Actually, when I got the negative, it was several years before Las Vegas had the ability to print something that large. Anyway, when they did, we started looking at it. There was all kinds of stuff on there that couldn't possibly be anything but man-made. There was a great big huge grading equipment there. There was lots of smoke coming out of these different things, all kinds of stuff. So I went over to Bob's house, showed it to him, and he said, yeah. And that I showed him one house that looks like a big building there. And so when I left his house, I said, "Oh, yeah, by the way, Bob, you promised to kill yourself if any of this stuff is true." He said, "Well, how can I get out of it?" And I said, "Well, all you have to do is write on this piece of paper that I, Bob Lazar, now admit that there is things on the moon that shouldn't be there."
I need you to speak directly into the phone, John.
Okay.
Yeah, there you
go.
go.
So Bob said, okay, and he got out of it by admitting that, yes, there was something on the moon.
Yeah, and wasn't there like a garage? You called it a parking garage.
We call it a parking garage because there's a big slanting kind of concrete or mounting on the side of it, which looked like that's where you drive up into this thing.
Now, why do you think? Let's talk about Bob for a second. Why do you think he has chosen to go private and just kind of ride off into the sunset and just choose the quiet life?
Because the last two times that he was up there, he remembered getting into the 737 there to McCarran and flying up to Groom Lake and getting into and then getting off the airplane when work was through, when it was finished, and getting off at McCarran. And the problem is he couldn't remember anything that he had done. And it's a way they have of controlling your mind now that they put on everybody so that they can't remember what they did up there. This is a real good achievement, because one of the big problems with keeping things a secret is having people themselves not be bothered about, hey, what did I do today? I'm sure I was up there, but what did I do? Yeah. And now they've got it advanced to the point where you can't even remember what you did. And so he didn't want to do work on things that he couldn't remember what he did.
You work for the CIA, and you have been around some pretty crazy people in your piloting career. You're a good judge of character. When Bob sat down with you that first night and started to disclose what was going on, and he was going to go through these interviews, what did you think? Were you trying to read him to see if he was telling the truth? I know you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, the actual thing is, when he came back after his first trip to Area 51, that would have been December 6th, 1988, he came into my den, and we usually, got together in the evening to talk about things, and he said, I saw a disc today. And I said, what? And he said, I saw a disc today. I said, theirs or ours? And he said, theirs. And I said, oh, my God, did you go to Area 51? And he said, yep. And I said, well, why are you up here? Why don't you work there for a couple of weeks, couple of months, find out what's going on, and then tell me? Because obviously they followed you. Obviously they set this whole thing up. He said, I've done this because you have taken so much crap over the years, over what you believe. I saw it, I felt it, I touched it, and I got to go in it later. And he said, I just wanted to set the record straight.
You know, John, that there was a car sitting outside of your house that night, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they were like, okay, Lazar is at Lear's house right now, and at that time, did you have any suspicion of your house being bugged? Do you think that they knew about that conversation that you guys were having at that moment?
Oh, yeah, they bugged it from 3 years before that, because I had two daughters, and they were always changing phones, as teenagers will, changing from room to room and number to number. And once I had the phone guy come to me, and he said, John, there's a tap on your phone. I said, well, I figured there would be. He said, do you want me to find out who placed it? Because, you have to put a record of who gives the authorization to place this tap. So I said, yeah. So he came back a half an hour later, and he said, John, I couldn't find where it was. I went down Monroe, I went down Hollywood Boulevard, and then down Bonanza, and it's farther than that. So tomorrow I'm going to go to the A-frame, or the mainframe, and find out where it is. So the next day he came in about noon and said, John, I can't work on your phones anymore. And I said, really? Why not? He says, because your phone is tapped at the mainframe and there's no paperwork to accompany it. And I took it to my boss, and my boss said, if you don't like your job, quit.
And how does that make you feel? I mean, when you have conversations on the phone, are you censoring yourself, or do you not care?
No, I don't care. I don't say anything that much. I mean, it's just the way it is, and I'm just telling him, well, what Bob told us about.
Were you? Could you tell at that point that they were circling in? I mean, literally, did you have cars following you? Did you feel intimidation?
No, I didn't. Bob did. Bob had a car following him and shoot his tire out. That's the night he spent over at my house because he was afraid to go home. But yeah, I never saw anybody follow me.
And take us back and tell us how you met Bob. And I know that was through Gene Huff, and it was just fate that it happened the way it did. But tell us about that moment.
Right. I had a guy call me, Gene Huff, and say, "Hey, John," he said, "I've listened to your stuff, and I was at the library, and I'd sure like to get a copy of all of it. What do I have to do?" And I said, "Well, unfortunately, my wife has taken all my stuff away. She's irritated at all the people that are calling, and so there's nothing I can do right now." And he said, "Okay, well, if you ever get in a position you can make a copy, I'd like to buy a copy." He says, "By the way, I am a appraiser, and if you ever need an appraisal of your house, I'll trade you the appraisal for the paperwork." So I went to Marilee, and I told her about it. She said, "Yeah, okay," because we did need an appraisal. So Gene came up to appraise it. He brought his tape measure and paperwork, and he brought a friend with him, Bob Lazar, and he introduced him, and he had his paperwork with him. I think there was a degree from MIT, a degree from Caltech. I can't remember because I put it behind my desk, and that's where it disappeared forever and ever. I don't know who took it, but they did take it. So when I started, me and Gene Huff started talking about the UFOs, Bob was rolling his eyes because he said, "Look, guys, I worked at Los Alamos. I was privy to everything they did, and there was no subject of flying saucers ever. It was not there, so it's all baloney." And so after that, we talked to Bob about a couple of months, maybe 3 months, telling him all different things we found out. And he would call his friends at Los Alamos and verify. And some of it was very, very secret, but turned out to be absolutely true. So he wanted to, but nothing about UFOs. So he wanted to find out if it was true, and he wanted to re-enter the scientific community. He called Teller.
Yep, Edward Teller.
Edward Teller, and said he wanted to re-enter the scientific community. And Teller said, "Do you want to work here in Livermore with me, or do you want to work there in Vegas?" And Bob said, "I want to work at Area 51. And Teller said, "Let me call you back." So the next call he got was from security, and right after that, he was going to have 3 interviews. And they were interviews for how much you knew, technically, about how much you knew, way, way beyond anything that you and I would ever know.
Right.
And he came over that night and said that he aced the interview. And I said, "How so?" And he said, "Well, they had talked about some things that I had done experiments on, so I was really ahead of the game." So then the second interview, they called him in. Their first question was, "Do you know John Lear, and what is your relationship with him?" And he said, "I know him, and I know that he sticks his nose into places where it doesn't belong." And then he says to me, "John, what I didn't tell them is I also like to stick my nose into places where it doesn't belong."
Let's take we have to take a break right here, John. So let's do that now. And our guest tonight is John Lear, the real John Lear. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. When we come back, we're going to finish up with Bob Lazar, but Dulce and the origins of all of that rest with John Lear. We'll discuss that when we come back. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with the real John Lear right after this short break. Stay right there.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com. Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
Hey folks, Life Change Tea here, reminding you that colds and flus suck. Feeling lousy sucks, and allergies really can be annoying. What if you could change that? What if you could drink something that changed the sick and tired scenario? Well, you can change how you feel with a little help from Life Change Tea. Life Change Tea is a drink you make, you control, and you drink. There are 8 organic herbs that blend together and give you what you need to fight the flus and colds of this world. Less sickness is more relief. Life Change Tea can help with high blood pressure, constipation, high cholesterol, and much, much more just by drinking the tea. Read the numerous testimonies at getthetea.com. If you're tired of feeling lousy, order right now at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Or you can call us at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. If you've heard this commercial more than once and someone's trying to tell you something, it's time to get well. GetTheTea.com.
Imagine no longer being tied down to your computer, but having the freedom to take live talk radio with you anywhere you go. TalkStream Live introduces our first ever iPhone application. The talk shows you follow now follow you. And your iPhone is now the fastest and easiest way to stay connected to the best talk radio on the internet. Let TalkStream Live transform the way you listen to radio. Listen to live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mobile talk radio from TalkStream Live. Now available in the iTunes App Store.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hard shell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight is John Lear, the real John Lear. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox, of course, and email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Now, John, we were talking about Bob Lazar and those amazing events that started to kick off in 1988. And then John says to you, I know when, and this, I just can't imagine being in your position at this point, because as we know, America changed, and you were right at the center of it. And he says to you, hey, man, I know when they're testing these things. And of course, you being as crazy as you are, you guys head out to the desert and you guys head out to Groom Lake. And that first evening, did you expect to see anything?
No, not really. But I could. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether I expect to see anything. But we got in my motorhome, and there was Bob, me, Gene Huff, and I think we had Bob's wife with us. And we drove up there, and we got to the the place where we wanted to be, which is clear of the restricted zone, about 9 o'clock, and I jumped out and started assembling my 8-inch Celestron telescope, and Bob and Gene got out, and then all of a sudden I heard him saying, there it is. And I looked up, and in the distance over the mountains was this real bright light going back and forth and doing all kinds of things. And I was trying to set up the telescope. It takes a little while to set it up, particularly when you're in the dark. And I finally got it set up just as it was settling behind the mountain. And I got a really good view of it. It was at a 45-degree angle. It was a goldish, yellowish color, and it was settling behind the mountains. And it was a saucer shape, and it was radiating this kind of yellow...
Speak into the phone, John. You're drifting out again.
It was radiating this yellowish gold stuff, and was obviously a flying saucer. So I said, here, quick, Gene, take a look. And as I stepped back, I accidentally hooked my foot around the tripod of the telescope, and by the time that Gene got it lined up, it had already landed or settled behind the mountains.
When you say gold stuff was coming off of it, what do you think that was?
I have no idea. I should have asked Bob what it was.
Right. And did you think at that point, us or them? I mean, you've seen every plane. You've flown every plane on planet Earth. You know exactly what, to look for. And so what were you thinking at that point? Was it like a holy crap moment?
Yeah, it was holy crap. I've seen a flying saucer. This is really cool. And I wanted them to see it. So there was nothing to do except wait for the next Wednesday night. And that Wednesday night was March 22nd. And so we would have to wait a week before it was up again, because they did test every Wednesday evening. And the reason they did was because it was on Wednesday evening was the lowest traffic count going by that road. It's almost nobody going by there, so they could actually fly up and around and wouldn't be seen by anybody.
Right, and a week later was that incident the one with the sheriffs?
No, a week later was the one where I had to fly, and I was stuck in I think Minneapolis. And I called Bob the night before, and I said, so what are you guys going to do tomorrow night? He said, we're going fishing. And that was obviously a reference to Groom Lake, and not really going to hide anything. But the third night was the night that we saw, that we tried to get another view, but security showed up and more or less kicked us out. So we didn't get to see it again.
Now, I'm going to be going out with our crew. We're going to be going out to Area 51 next month. And what do you think? Do you think there's a possibility of seeing anything these days? Do you think there's still stuff going on out there?
I really don't know. I hear stories that it's moved, and other stories that it's still there. So I don't know. It's you'll probably see something, because there's all kind. I mean, how long ago was that? The 88, almost 20 years ago, right?
Yeah, they're almost 30. Yeah, this is 2016.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you can imagine how far ahead they are now.
Yeah, you can only imagine. There were some images and video that were circulated last week on the net. I don't know if you saw this, but a big fire out at Area 51. Did you see those pictures? Did you hear about it?
No.
Yeah, it was pretty massive. I don't know if you probably wouldn't have seen it from where you are in Las Vegas. It's too far away, but it was a pretty massive fire. And they shot the video, and there were the camo dudes sitting on the hill, right, in the white Jeeps or whatever they were, watching the people videotaping the fire that was happening over the mountain at Area 51. It was massive. I mean, it was a huge fire. It makes you wonder what they were, if it was a controlled burn, were they burning chemicals?
No, a fire that would be seen by the road was a crash of some sort. Now, we had a crash happen in the 1990s, I think, and that was supposedly one of the Aurora ships.
Yeah, I had heard the same thing. Before we run out of time in this segment, what I wanted to talk about was Dulce. And Dulce is, how do I want to say that? It's expanded into a pretty large story, but the progeny of it all focuses right back to you. And how did you originally find out the original version of Dulce?
I was at a conference. There was 8 of us. UFO people got together in Crestone, Colorado, and we met for 2 or 3 days to talk about where the situation was and what we should do about it or anything. And as we started to leave at the last day, Tom Adams, who was one of the researchers, came over and he showed me a little note. And he said, "John, I got this from a lady in Las Vegas. I'd like you to follow it up because I'm not going to be out there." And this note said, "Tom, I have a friend who works as a security guard at a place where they say, where the tunnels go on forever and ever and ever." And there was a lot of little other information on it. And I said, okay. So it gave the name of who I should contact, and that was Cherry. I won't give the last name. I don't know whether she wants to be known. I know she was staying undercover for a long time. But anyway, I met with her when I got back to Vegas, and she told me about her friend who had worked there as a security guard, and he quit and left. And what he had 6 friends, and so he made 6 packages that had 25 black and white photos, 6 minutes of videotape, and 100 pages of information about Dulce, and it was all wrapped up, securely wrapped up in 6 different packages. And this guy hid each packages so that each guy that was given one would know where it was. And after he died, or after he was not, didn't come forward within the next 6 months. So let's see, what was it? 4?
Yeah, it was 4 months and 4 months, I think. Yeah.
Right. Boy, you have a good memory. 8 months, and we could go look for it. So I think 1996 is where he didn't report in, and so somebody went after it. Now, Cherry took me down to the exact place where it was. I sit up on a mountain, and there was a formation of rocks where he had hers, the package that he gave her. And we never did find it. I didn't look because I can't hide very well. But she did take a couple other guys, and there have been at least 4 or 5 searches for the box, but nobody has found it.
And none of the other 6 or the other 5 boxes have surfaced?
No.
Interesting. And then, of course, there's Mr. X. And how did you get in contact with Mr. X?
Who's Mr. X?
Mr. X was there in Vegas with you and was communicating with you about Dulce.
I think there's only one person that was probably Cherry. I may have switched her gender.
Okay. Oh, that's funny. And the stories about Dulce that you have heard since then, what do you think about that? And certainly we can talk about Phil Schneider and his versions of events. Do you think they were the same facility that Phil was referring to, or was it disinformation? You know, like the other stuff that was going on in New Mexico at that time?
I don't think Phil was giving us a straight story. I think that he did work on underground places, and when they started talking about Dulce, he tried to switch. He tried to say that, yeah, that's where he worked, but I don't think that was true. And then supposedly he was murdered, and, you know, I don't know whether that was true or not, but I don't believe Phil Schneider was giving us a straight story.
Did you ever get a chance to talk to Phil directly?
To Phil Schneider?
Yeah.
Yeah, he came up to the house, showed me his wounds that were supposedly the radiation wounds by the gun that they shot him with, or the weapon they shot him with.
And you know, it's kind of like the same thing with Bob Lazar. When you were talking to Phil, how did you feel? Do you feel that he believed what he was saying?
Yeah, he believed it, but he just didn't have enough of the real story. I don't remember what the real what I worried about as far as his story, but I didn't give it any talk anymore about it.
Right. And there's one other thing that I need to ask you directly. With all of the time that you have spent in the air, you've probably been in the air more than you've been on the ground, which is a pretty crazy thing to think about. Did you ever see anything strange when you were flying?
Well, you know, yes. When I was flying just before I retired, we were over Chicago in an L-1011, flying westbound in an L-1011 very late at night over Chicago, and we looked to the south and saw, I saw it first, and there was a bright light going directly north, and it would get just about to where we were, and it would go straight up, straight up into the sky. And so then I saw another one, and then a third one, and usually I don't talk to anybody in the cockpit about it, because whenever I do, then it never shows itself again. But in this case, it did. I say, hey, guys, look at this. And both of them did get a good view of this thing coming up and then shooting straight up. Let's see, what else did I see? I saw...
while you're thinking about that, what are the protocols for reporting stuff like that? I mean, do you keep it to yourself? Do you want to keep your pilot's license? Are you trying to avoid ridicule? Or is there a plan for pilots to report this, and how would you do it?
No, pilots don't say anything. They know that by experience that you do not discuss this stuff. And if you're ever asked, first of all, you should never report it. Everybody knows that. And then it's going to be the end. Now, I got a call from a reporter in Houston. I think he worked for Houston Chronicle or one of those papers down there. And he asked me about some of the stories, and he said, you know how ridiculous the sound is. This sounds. I said, yeah. I said, he said, well, can I use it? And I said, yeah, but don't use my name, because that will be instant termination. And so in the next few days, I got a call from another friend who lives in Houston.
We're losing you again, John.
I got another call from a friend in Houston, and he said, you're not going to believe this, you're on the front page, and it says, John Lear, noted American Transair captain, talks about UFOs, and that was the end. I got called in that evening to be in Indianapolis the next day, and it was short and sweet. There was the vice president of operations, who was not very bright anyway, and he held up the article. He said, do you believe this? And I said, well, it's just stuff I do in my off time. He said, well, you're fired. We can't have anybody who believes in flying saucers flying our airplanes. So that was it for that.
About a year ago, I was coming back from Florida. And at the airport, we had to change equipment. There was problems, with the plane. So we're waiting. And the two new pilots come up, and I'm standing there. And they stand right next to me. And one of the pilots goes, hey, man, you do that show about UFOs on History Channel. I said, yeah. And he goes, it's really cool. And I turned to the both of them. John, it was hilarious. I go, oh, so you watched the show? And he goes, yeah. And I said, hey, man, have you guys ever seen anything strange? His buddy, I like the captain, goes, man, I've never seen anything. He's the one that believes in that stuff. And the other guy goes, no, I don't believe in it. I just watched the show. They went from being a fan, right, of the show to total denial in just seconds. It was like we had nothing to talk about all of a sudden. And I wanted to get information out of him. And it was really, really funny. He admitted to watching the show, and then he's like, oh, man, I'm standing next to my boss. And I just watched them look at each other, and then we started talking about, I don't know, the Chicago Cubs or something.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. It was very quick. I thought I was able to, at that point, to just start talking about, what goes on in the skies. No, it didn't happen. It was shut down right away. I wanted to, before we wrap up here, and again, I want to thank you for coming on the show. One of the things that you did was fly for the CIA. And the stuff that you were doing with not only, and I guess it's okay to talk about now. You've mentioned it before, but certainly, when you're doing stuff like that, you're spiriting cargo, and probably had passengers that were, pretty crazy. How did you get your flight plans, and how were you able to fly in and out of airports and not have people know what you were actually doing?
Well, the flying I did was all in Laos. There was no flight plans or anything like that. We just we picked up people who were sitting on mountaintops and took them to another mountaintop, and that was it. People said, well, how do you know you weren't flying any dope or anything like that? And I said, well, it might have been on some of the boxes, but dope is supposed to go out of country if you're actually going to traffic it. But we didn't go out of country at all. We just flew in country, and we flew back and forth in country.
And what happens when you get recruited by the CIA? I mean, were you looking for work? Did you approach them, or was it the opposite? They needed good pilots, and they approached you. How does that happen?
Well, the first 4 years I worked for them, I didn't know I was working for them. We were ferrying airplanes from Wichita, Kansas to Nha Trang, Vietnam, and somebody mentioned who we worked for, and I said, I didn't know that. And he said, yeah. That's who we worked for.
Yeah. Hey, John, we have almost completely lost you.
Okay, I'll how about now?
Yeah, now you're back. I don't know if you're moving the phone around, but
yeah, I'm moving the phone because.
Oh, now we've lost him completely. We are getting messed with, everybody. Absolutely bizarre. I'll see if I can get John back. Let's take a quick break. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, John Lear. Wow. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Not being able to fall asleep is so frustrating. The tossing, the turning, the adjustment of pillows and blankets. Ugh! Eventually you just decide to get up and start your day really early. It doesn't have to be this way though. Power Sleep is an all-natural non-prescription formula that will help you sleep like a baby. It contains neurotransmitter nutrients that promote the production of serotonin, which is responsible for feelings of well-being. Power Sleep is easy to digest and absorb and is made in a base of active probiotics. Don't miss another night of sleep. Order your Power Sleep at energywave.com or call 800-TURTLE-5. Add Power Vites to your cart while you're browsing. Perfect for Monday mornings. They're a complete multivitamin and mineral formula that will give you the energy you need to get through your day. Nourish your immune system and feel great. Get all the info and place your order at energywave.com. Enter code word SLEEP to get free shipping. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall, and it's out of here!
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With a mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. I just got off the phone with John. He is having phone problems tonight, as you could hear. He had been messed with all day today. And his two landlines came and went, and we went to a third line right before the show tonight, and you could hear the problems that were in the line. So I just talked to John, and he just said, look, man, I'm going to get this sussed out, and I want to apologize to everybody out there, but it started today. They're messing with me, and I could hear the pops that were happening in the phone line, and I could hear those too. And something was going on, and he's upset, and we will get John on ASAP next week after we get this worked out. And we'll take it from there. It's very hard, too. See, not only for you, the audience, but remember, John is trying to concentrate. I'm trying to concentrate, and we both know what's going on. And it's coming and going like that. And it's frustrating. It's the same thing that you guys are feeling. It's the same thing for us here, too, as well. And we want the best. And we've got to give that to you. So that's it. We're not going to continue tonight with having them mess with us, because that is exactly what is going on. Every show here at Fade to Black is an event. There's no filler that happens here on Fade to Black. And tonight was one of those events. And if it cannot be the absolute best, then we're not going to do that. So John will be back with us probably Monday or Tuesday next week, and we'll get all of that straightened out. Okay? All right. So with that, I'm going to open up the phone lines. We didn't have Fader Night last week. All right, so let's make up for that. Now we're also going to do open lines tomorrow night, but let's open up the phone lines, 323-825-5045, 323-825-5045. All right, and while we are waiting for, let me clear the lines here. Let me do this. Okay, we are good to go. 323-825-5045, open lines. And, you know, this is what it is for me and John Lear. First off, he was totally excited to come on to Faded Black. He's a fan of the show. That's the cool thing. That's first. And, okay, here come the phone calls. There you go. You got to love the 20-second delay, right? Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, Casper Parks, thanks very much for having John Lear on tonight. I know had some difficulties, and you know, but he's an excellent guest. You know, you and I talked, it was a few months ago when I had, back in the 90s when I was asked to go to a John Lear event. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yes, I do.
And, you know, just to verify that people know this stuff does go on is, you know, I had people ask me to go. You know, some people dressed, you know, or that were going to the event for the UFO conference there in L.A., I think it was in the spring of '93, and then, you know, I, being like I am and I like to be around crowds, I kind of declined, so I had to be in my office. And that Saturday, I felt really guilty. Got up, got showered, dressed, went to my office, and two individuals came in, and they were like at least 6'2" to 6'4", jet black hair. You know, they were wearing like casual jeans and, you know, dress shirts, but tried to dress casual. Their jeans were creased like they were pressed. The only people that do that are like military or federal agents. And they asked me how I knew what I knew. And, you know, and that was at the same time that the Lear conference was going on in L.A., and I think I was in '93. And we had a guy from that we knew through one of the bands that worked for the phone company and did a sweep on my phone roughly the same time, and it was tapped as well. But, you know, I had this managing band that was playing a hemp rally at the time, so I kind of passed it off as that. But people do, you know, what John's talking about, people on your show, you know, when people come in and talk and they say, well, you know, we've had agents or people follow us and talk to us, you know, that stuff really, 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 really does happen. And, you know, I got buzzed a few months later by that black helicopter up in the northern lower of Michigan. So, but John Lear's an excellent guest, excellent, you know, to research, you know, his work and stuff.
Well, and this is, you know, this is the trippy thing about John. Okay, and this is for real. This is for shizzle real. 18 world speed records, right? Flown over 150 aircraft, earned every certificate granted by the FAA, and his dad, you know, the Learjet Corporation. That's the end of the story. He's got credentials and street cred more. I can't imagine, right? And that's the point with John. When he speaks, you just have to listen to what the man has to say. You know, I have such mad respect for him. I really, really do.
Yeah, people give up an enormous amount. In John's case, he gave up a career, or affected his career, probably a better way to put it. And, you know, so for people to do what they're doing, like John Lear's done, you know, they're giving up an awful lot of their own lives and their own career, you know, financially, security-wise, and other issues. You know, they put a lot on the line for that because they want to get to the truth.
Yep, you're absolutely right, Casper. And I'll tell you something else. What were the odds of, Bob Lazar showing up at his house one day? And I mean, that really happened. And everything else that followed. It's an amazing life, and I can't wait to get him on. When he comes back, we'll make sure that, the three letters and the people that are out there that want to mess with us and this show and mess with him, we're going to fight the good fight. He really, really has stuff to say, and I need to be that guy, man. I just want to sit there and listen, and we'll get him back. And it's just unfortunate that we were fighting, the audio tonight. We were just fighting it, and it was just like, man, what is going on here? And it was an interesting day to get this going, but we did the best, and we'll reset and start over next week.
I'll let you move on to some other callers. Thank you again, Jimmy, and have yourself a good weekend and enjoy contacting the desert.
You're not going?
I wanted to go. My nephew's kind of really bugging me to go, and kind of trying to watch my dollars a little bit, and but I kind of like to go, and I thought about doing either Roswell or Big Bear instead, but I wasn't really sure yet.
Yeah, well, we're not going to be at Big Bear, so there's Roswell or Contact.
Yeah, and I haven't really been to a conference before, and I remember you telling me one time, smaller conferences for the first time sometimes are better, but I've never been to Roswell, and I've always wanted to go and check that out.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, Roswell's going to be just a fantastic event. I can't wait, and we are going to the motherland, man. We're going to go straight out to the crash site, and I've just got to do it, man. I want to do metal detectors, and I want to go out there, and we're going to be out there with Don Schmidt and Tom Carey, and we're going to go straight to where it all went down. And this is the other thing. It's BLM land now, so it's not private.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we can go out there. Nobody's going to mess with us. And we can go out there and just check it out. And, of anything else, Casper, we can say that we've been there, and I really want to do that. I really, really want to do that. And I just can't wait.
That sounds like an adventure. That sounds like an adventure that I would really enjoy going on.
Well, and see, I'll tell you something else about Joshua Tree. There's Joshua Tree and the event center is one thing, but there's Giant Rock, and it's right there. George Van Tassel, the Integratron, and there's other things that make Joshua Tree and Contact in the Desert very, very special too. So I would love for you to be at either one.
Okay, I definitely. If I can make Contact in the Desert, I'm going to shoot for Roswell. I think because that sounds like it'd be a real adventure to get out there, and it sounds like a whole citywide event where it's like a festival.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's music and everything else, and a parade, and that's it's a citywide event, no doubt. So either way, it's a winner. It doesn't matter whichever one is easier for you. But there you go. All right.
All right. Well, thanks for taking my call again. Have yourself a good evening.
I'll see you right here tomorrow night. Thank you, Casper.
All right. Bye-bye.
Casper Bleepin Parks, 323-825-5045, 323-825-5045. And one of the things that I was starting to get out of John was some of the other stuff that he was doing around the world, too, as well. But... yeah, the Dulce stuff, the way that happened to him, of course, Bob Lazar and Gene Huff and, George Knapp and Lazar and how all of those events kicked off for him, too, as well. It's just absolutely amazing. And why are the calls coming in and disappearing? That's... man, we're getting messed with. They're blinking on and off. That's trippy. Huh. Okay. I'll reset right now. Boom. Boom. Do it again. I dare you. That's trippy. That's trippy. Okay. Let's try this one. This one stayed. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, this is Nelson from Jersey.
Hey, Nelson, how are you, man?
Good. Man, I was really looking forward to listening to that whole thing with him tonight. That sucks that they were messing with you guys.
You could tell, too, couldn't you?
Yeah, at first it just sounded like he was, like, pulling the phone away from his mouth, but, like, after a while, it was just cutting in and out and in and out and in. It's like, come on.
Yeah, you can hear the pops and the clicks and the pops and the clicks.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yep, and it was somebody running some interference. That's exactly what was going on, and you know what? It's not going to happen next time. But it's frustrating for everybody. But it's John Lear. What can you say?
Yeah, no, he said something tonight that actually made me think of some YouTube videos I've been actually checking out. This gentleman had filmed. I don't know if you've heard of the lunar wave.
Yes.
Have you read that at all?
It is something that we're looking into. It is it's making its rounds. It's interesting information. The data that is there is very, very interesting. And yes, we are looking into it.
Yeah, because when he brought up the fact that there's civilizations on the moon, I mean, it would make sense that if there was some sort of like coverage of a hologram up there to basically shield away whatever is actually on the bright side of the moon for anybody on this planet to see. So they put up this hologram so people see only what they're projecting.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just crossed my mind when he brought that up.
Yeah, and it's an interesting theory. One of the issues, who brought this up, and it's funny that we're talking about it now, but I brought it up with Nick Redfern when he was on the show last, because last year at Contact in the Desert, when I was hosting a panel, Nick had said this one thing to me that it floored me. And he said, you know what? I don't think they're coming in from another solar system or another galaxy, man. I think they're here. And I think they're on the moon, on the dark side of the moon, or maybe another planet here. And they're just coming by. And it was just an interesting thing. It just stopped me in my tracks. That answers a lot of questions about how they're getting here. Well, it's because they're already here. And they're just visiting. And the dark side of the moon is the dark side of the moon. And we've seen some pretty strange images from the dark side of the moon that are interesting. So I don't know. I really don't. And that's why this whole thing with the lunar waves I just find really interesting, Nelson. And thank you for the phone call, man. And we'll see you right here tomorrow night. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Tanner from Athens, Georgia.
Hi, Tanner. How are you, brother?
Nice to talk to you. I have a question that's unrelated to your interview.
What's that?
I don't know if you've talked on this subject before, but I just had a question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
We talked about the Sphinx being, directed towards, Leo and stuff, the constellations.
Yep.
And I was wondering if I thought kind of the Leo and Aquarius and stuff was made up by us. So why would the, aliens be building architecture related to our symbolism of the stars,
That is a great question, Tanner, and let me answer to the best of my abilities. And you want me to tell you why it's a great question?
Right.
I have asked that very question probably 50 times with 50 different researchers on this show.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, I
all right.
missed it. I'm sorry.
Well, see, this is what I find trippy, Tanner, is the zodiac, the modern zodiac that you're talking about, right? Leo, Pisces, you know what I mean? Libra,
Yes.
Scorpio, right? Well, when I look up at the stars, Tanner, and I'm trying to figure out what is where, I can't see the images that people have been representing in the zodiac for thousands of years. I don't see it. And I find it fascinating that all of these cultures have been seeing the same things in the sky with that representation, which is what you're talking about. And,
yes, sir, that's right.
Now, this is what is undeniable. Whether it's the Dendera zodiac in Egypt, whether it's zodiacs that are in the United Kingdom, zodiacs around the world, Puma Punku on the T-pillar has got a partial zodiac there with most of, I think they have 8 of the constellations represented there. And it's just like, wait. How can everybody be seeing the same thing? And when you look at the Sphinx at 10,000 BC pointing directly east-west, directly at Leo, it makes you wonder, what is it that they are seeing? Or, Tanner, maybe somebody is telling them what they are seeing. So that's, and it's not just the zodiac that you see in the paper in the morning when you're looking up your horoscope, right? This goes back. This goes back a long, long ways with all kinds of cultures and civilizations around the world. It's not just one. And I find it fascinating. I don't know, man. I can't figure it out. When you look up at the stars, Tanner, can you see the constellations? Does it make sense to you?
I can see the Big Dipper, and that's it.
That's me, man. I'm a big, and I've messed that up too a few times. Yes, so
sir.
I'm totally with you. I'm totally with you.
So you're saying that you've heard before the constellations and the names that are given might not be a human concept.
Well, I can't. What I can't figure out. Okay, when you go, this is what is. Write this down. You got a pen?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay.
I'm in a hotel. They always give us pens.
Okay, there you go. Write this down. Egypt, Dendera, Dendera, zodiac. Okay? And Google that and take a look.
Okay.
That is 2500 BC, man. That is almost 5,000 years ago. Look at that zodiac, and it's the exact same zodiac that we have today. So I don't know,
That's
man.
Crazy.
It is. I can't explain that. And if you look at zodiacs from around the world, just go and Google and the ancient zodiacs that are all over the United Kingdom that have been there for a long time. They didn't travel to Egypt. They didn't look at the ceiling in Dendera. Well, maybe they did. I don't know, which would make it even crazier, right?
Yeah.
And then when you look at the T-pillar up at Göbekli Tepe, and clearly on that T-pillar is a scorpion, and I think there's a bull, for Taurus. And I think there's representations for Pisces. I'm just trying to think off of the top of my head, and they're all right there. Well, that's 8,000 years ago. I don't know, man.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Tanner. Where are you calling from tonight?
Well, I live in Georgia, but I'm about to pick up a patient in Lady Lake, Florida. So I'm in Florida tonight, taking the patient to Massachusetts tomorrow.
What do you do?
I do long-distance medical transport. I'm kind of like a paramedic,
Right.
And so I drive an ambulance. I pick up patients every day. I'm in a different state every day, and it's a crazy life. I'm never home.
Wow. Man,
yep.
That's, you know what? You deserve a medal, man. That's absolutely incredible.
Well, the medal is the money that I make. But if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't do it.
Hey, Tanner, be safe out there, man, and thank you for calling in. First-time caller. Thank you so much, Tanner.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hello?
Yeah, you're live right now.
Oh, hi, Jimmy. This is Cindy.
Hi, Cindy.
And I'm from I'm from North Carolina. Let me turn you off.
Yeah, I would turn me off in the background.
Yeah, I'm moving to another room.
Okay. And
You
can
are breaking my heart tonight.
Why is that? Oh, John Lear?
No, I love the fact that John Lear was on. I listened to him a couple years ago on Carrie's interview, and I just couldn't get enough of him.
Yeah, he's the best.
But first you told me you were not going to be in Big Bear, and I so wanted to meet you and Rita.
Yeah, well,
and you're not going to be there.
No, we're not going to be there. We just got a scheduling problem, and and there's a couple of things that are going on right now that we really can't talk about. That is, and so as things move on,
I'm still bummed.
Yeah, you guys will understand. But go to Contact in the Desert.
I can't. I'm in North Carolina.
Right.
And I'm going to be in California in August. So I'm like, perfect. I can go down there because I'll be in Northern California, but it's going to drive down.
Right.
But anyway, you're not going to be there.
Well,
but yeah.
Well, there may be another event in August that we've been invited to too as well. So that doesn't conflict with this other date. And
Really?
there's
What's that?
Hold on. See, I can't divulge secret information right now. But
Come on, Jimmy.
Yeah, Cindy, we'll make it happen. Oh man. Well, just if just let us know when you're going to be here in Southern California, and who knows?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, it's been great becoming a Fade or Not. I've been on Spreaker for, I don't know, the last 2 or 3 weeks, meeting all the gang over there. It's been really cool. And I love your show. You are a great interviewer.
Thank you.
There are so many people. I listen to other people interviewing the same people you interview, and you're awesome. You really bring it out of them.
And since
great
you're
job.
Since you're a first-time caller, and since you just gave me the accolades that you did, write Rita right now an email, right? Rita@jimmychurchradio.com. You can do it, or you can go to our contact page on the website. I've got your phone number in front of me. Okay?
Okay.
Send us your address. I'll send you a T-shirt.
Oh, okay, great.
Are you down? Are you down?
I'm down.
Okay, take care
I'm
of it, Cindy.
Just let me know where this other thing's going to be. Maybe I'll be able to get there instead.
We'll make it happen.
Cool.
Thank you, Cindy.
All right.
Have a great night.
Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hello.
Yeah, you're live right now.
Jimmy, how are you?
I'm doing good. Who's this?
It's Charles, man. I'm calling from Canada.
Hey, Charles from Canada. What part of Canada, brother?
I'm in Calgary.
You're in Calgary.
I am.
And what's going on with that fire?
Oh, man, it's absolutely insane. There's about 90,000 people who've been evacuated. It's pretty scary. The whole town is pretty much gone.
Yeah, and listen, our thoughts are with everybody up there. We have been following it, and I was watching it all day today, and it rips your heart out, man. I mean, that is no joke, and our thoughts and prayers are with everybody up there, and just be safe. And you know what, Charles, I'll say this. For them to go, okay, you know what, the whole town, we're bailing now, go, right? That they needed to do that because it would have been a really, really bad situation if they didn't do what they did when they did.
Oh yeah, it was. It's incredible. You look at the news and it's just. It seems like something out of Hollywood. I mean, just cars abandoned on the highway because people are running out of gas. Of course, there's no gas, and just people like evacuating in masses. It's unbelievable. And of course we're here, so we get it. We're getting the news 24/7 through our local radio or TV station. So yeah, it's pretty scary. I mean, we're about from here. We're about 5 hours.
Yeah, that was my next question, Charles. Thank you.
Yeah,
that was my next question. Well, I saw a video clip today of it looked like 3 brothers, 3 kids. I'm going to say 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. heading up the side of the road with their luggage, right? And I'm like, holy crap. They were safe. They were okay. But I'm just saying that's what's going on, man. And,
it's unbelievable.
And looking at all of the, I'm talking about school buses rolling out of town full of people. But, it's everything that they can do. But the entire town is evacuated at this point, right? Fort McMurray?
Fort McMurray, yeah. And you're talking, like I said, 80, 90,000 people. Even the hospital got evacuated. I mean, they took out, I don't know how many hundreds of people and just evacuated them.
And has anybody died?
No,
that's the crazy
died,
part.
But,
isn't that the crazy part? I mean, congratulations. I mean, look, nobody wants to lose a house and everything that you've had and your personal belongings. You know what? But all of that stuff, as they say, can be replaced, man. Whatever, And for them to be able to pull that off, I can't believe it. Wow.
Yeah, in the spirit of Alberta and, the country as a whole, I mean, every institution, the banks are donating and people are donating and rushing. The Red Cross is, and people are offering their houses as far away as, right across Canada, offering people, I've got an extra couch, come and stay in it. It's just incredible how people unite every time that, that we have a situation like that in Canada.
Right.
It's really amazing.
So you called me. I'm sorry to swing the conversation over to
Fort
McMurray.
I'm just talking. I wanted to hear more on John Lear, so hopefully next time you can get him on for a little bit longer. I mean, the guy is definitely fascinating, and love to hear more about, especially when he was talking about the civilization on the moon. I mean, that just kind of blew me away.
Well, what do you think? What do you think about that?
You know what? I mean, the guy seems credible, right? I mean, he's got all the right credentials and he seems really credible. But, you're a little bit skeptical for sure, but definitely would like to hear more.
Well, you have to be skeptical when you're hearing information like that, Charles. You have to. But this is the thing about John. When you ask, he says, I don't have any insiders, right? Okay, yeah. Well, you know what? You're not. If you did, you wouldn't say that you did. Then you don't have insiders anymore. Who's going to give you the inside information, right? And
exactly.
So I just it's not for me to go, okay, who's giving you this information? He worked for the CIA. He's not going to turn around and go, oh, well, my sources are A, B, C, and D. That's not how life works. So I'm not interested where the information is coming from. I just want the information. That's all I want. And it was frustrating for him, and it's frustrating for us and for you guys. So it's just best, rather than, fight that tonight, to just reset, bring him back on when the lines are clear, and we know that they are, and we just hit the ground running. So, Charles, you know what you got to do? I've got your number right here. I want you to write Rita. Okay, you can do it through the website. Go to the contact page and write Rita. I've got your phone number, and we'll send you a T-shirt. All right, all the way to Canada.
Awesome, Jimmy. I appreciate it.
Hey, what's the big hotel in downtown Calgary? It's the Four Seasons, right?
The big one?
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean big? By expensive or luxurious?
Yeah, the nice one.
Well, the really, really nice one down here is probably the Palliser.
I've stayed there. That's the one where the doormen wear the top hats, right?
You betcha. And it's probably about 120 years old, and it's every royalty, a lot of the celebrities will stay there because it's a pretty fancy joint.
Yeah, it is pretty fancy. I've eaten at that steakhouse on the top floor. Hey, Charles, write Rita right now, okay? Put your phone number in the email and tell us your shirt size, okay?
Excellent. Appreciate it. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Charles.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back. Taking your phone calls.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
If your home has hard water and it's leaving white spots, then it's likely that limescale is clogging your pipes. Limescale can cost hundreds of dollars a year in wasted energy and early appliance breakdown. HydroCare systems available at Wave Home Solutions prevent and remove limescale with just a simple filter change every 3 years. There are no salts, chemicals, or magnetic coils. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, just go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
If you're a talk radio fan, AccessRadio.net lets you listen to the best talk shows anytime and from anywhere. Works on your mobile or landline phone, and there's no cost if you have unlimited minutes. No need to use your data. Find your favorite talk show listen lines and discover new ones. Now you can listen on your schedule. Go to AccessRadio.net. That's AccessRadio.net. Save your favorite listen lines today.
Hi, I'm Richard Dolan. When I'm not hosting my radio program, The Richard Dolan Show on KGRA, or writing new books on UFOs, I run a publishing company. I'm proud to say that Richard Dolan Press has published some of the most fascinating books available on UFOs and related subjects. They include Dr. Bruce Maccabee's classic analysis of the UFO cover-up, David Marler's breakthrough book on triangular UFOs, Dr. Richard Sauter's unique work on underground bases, and other classics by Grant Cameron, Chase Kletsky, and Dr. Bob Wood, not to mention intriguing works by Eve Lorgan and Laurie MacDonald that deal with truly bizarre phenomena. I'm proud to publish such high quality and original works, and there are several amazing books about to be released over the next few months. Go to richarddolanpress.com to learn more.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. Emergency open lines. We had issues with John Lear getting messed with tonight on the show. Man, it was kind of dramatic, too. Just fighting it, man. We were fighting it, just fighting it. So we're going to open lines. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. What's your favorite John Lear moment? We've all got a favorite John Lear moment. Want to hear from you. 323-825-5045. Open lines, whatever you want to talk about. And Tanner calling in, and he says he's coming to CITD. I can't believe you're not reading these, Rita says. Man, I read them all, Rita. I can't. Do you want me to read everything that you're posting right now? I will do that. 323-825-5045. John Lear, there are, Carrie did a series of John Lear interviews, and Carrie Cassidy, and you can go watch those online. I've talked about those many, many times. The interviews are fascinating. Part one has got over 1 million views, and it's absolutely crazy. And then just go and put them all together back to back. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, this is Ward from Fort Myers.
Hey, Rob, how are you tonight, man?
No, Ward.
Oh, hey, Ward, what are you doing?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
I'm all right. Hey, I wanted you do me a favor. You know, next time John comes on, can you ask him about the mirror thing? You know, how he says, like, you asked him about how those, we keep from not seeing the civilizations on the moon and the planets. He said mirrors.
Yeah, well, and we will go into that. And what I meant to do, see, this is the thing with John, right? You just wind him up and let him go, right? that's what you do. And when he made the comments about the civilization on the moon and the mirrors and the 40 planets, by the time there was a little break in the action and I could get my foot in the door, right? And just kind of prop the door open a little bit.
Right.
We got so far away from that, and I wanted to go back and address all of those points. And you're exactly right. There's one other thing that we'll talk to him about when he comes back on, is the moon being, artificial, and it was towed into place. And he has a photograph of the propulsion system in the ship on the dark side of the moon that moved it there. And
really?
Maybe I can get those images out of him, and we can post those during the show, because I want to ask him about that.
I've never even heard of that before.
Yeah, that's my job. It's my job. Have you shot any videos? Cool. Have you shot any videos lately?
Not lately. Nothing good lately. I'm still trying to catch stuff, but there's been weird stuff happening with my mother. These people appearing at the side of her bed at night, and she's 86. She's never had any kind of paranormal experience, anything.
Until you moved in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she said that these people look sort of like greenish, but for a while I thought maybe it was like, because she's 86, I thought maybe it was like angels of death coming to get her, But she said no, that it's not angels of death, because these people aren't that great looking. She figured angel of death to be better looking.
Well, I'll let everybody know this is Ward, and Ward sent us a series of videos. Oh, man, Ward, it's been like 2 or 3 years now, hasn't it?
No, it's not been that. No, Jimmy, it's only been like a year. Seems like it's been that long.
I think it's been longer than that. But
anyway.
Yeah, you sent us a series of videos that were pretty strange. And and they were slowed down, and they were just strange, and I still don't know what to make of it, man, because they were very strange. What were those shot during the day? Were they shot at night?
No, they're all different. I'm not sure. There's a new one that's like an alien eyeball looking underneath my door. I don't think I sent you that one. I think you're right now. I think it's been 2 years. You're right.
Yeah.
I think that one I didn't send you. But some of them were filmed during the day, and some of them were filmed during night. I still have more, but I'm just trying to get somebody to help me do some highlighting and stuff on it. But still, and there's also like a couple of them I don't remember taking, and but others I do, like the alien looking underneath the door. I remember that one. I remember that one clearly. I was doing it. That was actually like 6 o'clock in the morning. I took that one.
How do you know? Is there any kind of warning that this is about to happen? Do you know that it's about to happen? I mean, how do you know to fire up the video?
Well, like for one thing, the lights in where I'm at, if I'm at my condo or if I'm at my mom's, they seem to start giving off a reddish, yellowish glow instead of the white glow that and light bulbs usually give off. I'm not talking about phosphorescent. I'm just talking about the whole area just seems to be like turning like sort of reddish or yellowish kind of tinge.
Right.
And I just get this really odd feeling like, that there's something that it becomes ultra like surreal. Like I don't like to overuse, but it is surreal. I don't know how to explain it. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, they're asking in Twitter now, Ward, where they can see the video. So jump over to Twitter and tell everybody where they can go see these videos so they can check them out themselves.
Okay, well, I can't get on Twitter right now. I'm on a cell phone, so
Okay.
But I'm nowhere near a computer. But you can just go to Ward Alien Video. Just if you go on YouTube, Ward Alien Video.
Ward Alien Video on YouTube. All right, we got it, man. It'll get tweeted out right now. Hey, Ward, thank you, man, for calling in.
No problem, John. Jimmy. John Lear.
Yeah, John Lear on the brain. Thank you so much, Ward.
Yeah. All right. Take it easy, man.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hello?
You're live right now.
Hi, Jimmy. This is Paul McVeigh.
Hey, Paul. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well. For Charleston?
Yep.
I was just wanting to know, are you ever going to do any meetups in the East Coast?
Well, we're talking about that now, and I gotta say, Paul, we have had more requests to get out to the East Coast, and the East Coast feels like that we don't love them, and it's not us. It's the people that put on the events out there, and we would love to make it out up and down the coast, man, from New York to Florida and hit everything in between. We've got a couple of things that we're working on right now, and we'll see if we can make that happen. Unfortunately, one of them is up in the New York area. It's not where you are, but I would love to. What city are you in?
Charleston.
Yeah, you're in
South
Charleston.
Carolina.
You're in Charleston. Yeah, man. If you know of an event that is going on in that area, let them know, let us know, and we'll make it happen. I mean, there's a lot of events that are going on. We can't make them to them all, but if you know of one specific that you think is really cool, let us know and let them know, and we'll make it happen.
All right, cool, man.
So,
I just want to say, man, I really love your show. I've been listening for a while now, and it's a great show.
And it's the first time that you've called in.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you know what you got to do. You got to write.
Contact Rita, right?
Yeah. It's very simple, man. Contact Rita. I've got your phone number right here. Put your phone number in the email, and we'll send you out a T-shirt. How cool is that?
All right, well, that's awesome. I appreciate it.
I mean, those faded black shirts, Paul, are really, really cool.
Yeah, I've seen a few and really been wanting to buy one, but I just haven't had the funds for it lately.
Well, see, that's all you got to do is call in.
All right, well, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, sir.
Man, have a great night.
You too, buddy.
There you go. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. And yeah, first-time callers always get something really cool. Tonight I'm in a T-shirt mood. Since I was in the T-shirt warehouse earlier today, I'm in a T-shirt mood. Those T-shirts look really cool. I was looking on Facebook today, and I was talking about the little conversation pit that we had up in San Francisco over the weekend at the New Living Expo. And Lori McDonald, Lori, if you're listening, Lori, you should call in. Lori posted a picture. I think Laura Eisenhower took it because she wasn't in the picture. Lori's in the picture. Or is Lori not in the picture? I don't know. But anyway, of the conversation pit. And there it is, man. Our friend Mark is wearing a faded black shirt right in the middle of everybody. And it's funny because I'm not looking at the faces. I'm looking at the stupid faded black shirt. Man, they look really cool. They stand out in the crowd. And very cool. Okay, 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Whatever. We got to open up the phone lines tonight. John Lear had some problems. And that's it. Somebody was seriously messing with this show. And I was talking to John right after we went to commercial. I called him immediately. I'm like, wait. He's like, man, I don't know, man. I'm hearing these pops and clicks, and the volume is going up and down. I don't know what's going on. I'm just so angry right now, and it was very frustrating for us to go through. So now, what I was talking about is with John, his career and the things that he has done in his life. I look back at mine, and I feel pretty blessed. You know, I feel pretty blessed. And yeah, I've got to hang out with all of my heroes in the music industry and all of the fantastic researchers and the stuff in the alternative fields that we deal with in this show. I feel pretty blessed, but it pales to John Lear. I mean, it's just like there ain't nothing I can say that's going to shock John. You know, he has truly been there, and we'll make it all happen again next week. Now, I was I'm going to shift things a little bit here really quick because I want to get back to ACC, and I was talking about ACC before we brought on John Lear tonight, and ACC, American Computer Corporation, and Jack Schulman was this phenomenon that took over the alternative world for about a year and a half, 1997 or so. And what I have here is a fax, okay, F-A-X, for those of you that don't remember fax machines, that Schulman had sent out to a researcher. And without getting into who this was sent to and so forth, I don't have his permission to do that, but I don't know if he'd want his name out there. But this is the fax that was sent from Jack Schulman to this guy that wanted more information on this alien technology that Corso had talked about in his book. And I'm not sure, the day after Roswell, I'm not sure if ACC and Jack Schulman took Corso's information and ran with this story and made everything up, or if ACC was real, I don't know. And that happened before Corso's book, or they both came out at the same time and it was coincidence. I don't know. But the story itself took off like wildfire. And this is the fax that was sent to this researcher. And this was dated, let me back up here. I can give you the exact date. September 1st, 1997. All right? Here you go. Bob. Oh, I just gave the guy's first name. Okay, well, the guy's first name is Bob. Bob. Prior to 1947, Bell Laboratories and the manufacturing arm of the Bell system, Western Electric, were extensively involved in the development of communications used during World War II on the battlefield, and had developed in 1936 a very primitive calculator, which Bell had characterized as a digital computer. It wasn't until Dr. Wang, more on this in a second, came along and commercialized the digital calculator that that became the basis for today's programmable calculators. Also, Bell Laboratories developed most of the technology used by the national and government military telephone networks around and during the century prior to 1947. Indubitably, Bell Labs had one of the most senior positions in the military research arena for a very long time and still does. Communications control devices are useful in controlling telephones, but are also useful in computers and in controlling weapons, missiles, and etc. Case in point, the light amplification through stimulated emission of radiation, or lasers, commonly used as a targeting device today. However, 1947 appears to have been a banner year in Bell Labs history, representing an unprecedented departure from its previous focus on vacuum tubes and mechanical relays. Now, vacuum tubes and mechanical relays, for all of you, were replaced by the transistor, and everything was miniaturized overnight. Okay, that's my input. Okay, continuing. Nearly all subsequent technological advances in communication, switching, audio, video, integrated circuitry, and military components at Bell Labs leveraged in some way the advent of the transistor. Mr. John Jack Morton is a now nameless individual who headed up not only the transistor project, but drove many of the projects that derived from the transistor. As head of the Semiconductor Research and Development Division of the Bell System at Bell Labs until his untimely death in the early 1970s. Many businesses, such as American Research and Development, American Bell Computers, Digital Equipment Corporation, DEC, and others, emerged under the aegis of Bell Labs and the Bell System during those decades without the public ever really knowing they were commercial extensions of the Bell System projects, as the Bell System was at the time not legally allowed to engage in such commercial ventures. And while most of the perception that the Bell System and IBM are at each other's throats and fight like cats and dogs, I am of the personal opinion that any argument between them is more like a tempestuous and vigorous relationship that sometimes occurs between a husband and wife. Note, I am distinguishing between Bell Labs and today's AT&T Corporation, which are not exactly the same thing. You can tell now, right, that this was written in 1997. I am under the impression that Bell Labs was split into two parts, both of which were to engage into research: Bell Labs for the public, long distance and military sector, and Bell Core research for the regional Bell operating companies. I am not certain that the cloistered relationship between Bell Labs, Lucent Technologies, and AT&T Labs, as it exists today, is in fact entirely legal. In fact, I am of the personal opinion that it is not, and today's AT&T may be very lucky that no one has challenged their position of exclusivity with Bell Labs, as I do not believe they are entirely entitled to it. The intellectual properties belonging to Bell Labs were paid for when Bell Labs was part of a public utility, the Bell System. And I am of the personal opinion that Bell Labs' intellectual properties belong to the American people, whose taxes and telephone payments paid for them, and they do not belong to AT&T Corporation, a commercial venture started to encapsulate the long-distance commerce of the Bell System in competition with whoever could enter the long-distance arena. It appears to me that AT&T is deriving substantial profits from what may be undeserved and allegedly improperly privileged position. But then again, I could also be entirely wrong. If it turns out that Colonel Corso's story, on the one hand, and the story of American Computer Company published about Roswell on its website, on the others, are true, then that would add a very strange, in fact, bizarre twist to the entire affair, wouldn't it? Signed, Jack Schulman. Now, this is part of the saga that was going down with Jack Schulman about the Roswell Bell Labs controversy that was just flaming all over the internet back then. The Jack Schulman went on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, posting in forums, writing articles, speaking out allegedly in public. I never saw the guy. I've never seen a picture of him, but took this position that American Computer Corporation had this alien technology that came directly out of Roswell, and they were selling these products. Now, imagine if this was going on today. Think about this for a second. So the vetting process and trying to get through to this and finding out who Jack Schulman is. Where is American Computer Corporation? Where are their warehouses? How are they shipping products? We would probably be able to get that information easier today. In 1997, when the internet was just starting to break out, things weren't as easy back then. They weren't as easy to vet. There wasn't as much information on the internet. It hadn't been brought up to hard drives and hadn't been brought online. Not only people's backgrounds, but certainly corporate information and company information. So it wasn't as easy to find out, which allowed this story to grow because nobody was able to get to the bottom of any of it. American Computer's president, Jack Shulman, I'm reading here. This is a news statement, a news article that was released in mid-August 1997, and also on September 16th, 1997, a continuation, part 2 of this article. And I'll read you part of it right here. In brief, ACC has suggested that the historic invention of the transistor at Bell Laboratories in December 1947 might have been aided by covert transfer of technology from an alien spacecraft recovered near Roswell, New Mexico. This suggestion directly parallels similar claims made by Lieutenant Colonel Philip Corso in his recent book, The Day After Roswell. However, ACC personnel state that they had no knowledge of Corso or his book, but relied instead on information provided by a consultant who remains nameless. American Computer's president and chief technical officer is Jack Shulman. In recent weeks, Shulman himself has come under scrutiny by UFO researchers, as have several other people who have presumed to speak in a seemingly authoritative way on behalf of American Computer. Chief among these others are one Ed Wang, I mentioned him earlier, and one Bob Wolf. Pronouncements attributed to these two persons have raised suspicions that Shulman himself may have been writing under one or several pseudonyms. CNI News, working in cooperation with radio host Jeff Rentz, of all people, the popular syndicated program Sightings on the Radio, is seeking to verify or dispel that various rumors swirling around ACC and the person known as Jack Shulman, so that public attention can be refocused to the significant issues raised on the American Computer website. This special supplement to the October 1st edition of CNI News is directed to that goal. It was an amazing time. It was a fascinating time to be on the internet in September 1997. And that ACC website, of which, if you do the right searches on the net right now, you can find archives. You know how to do it. It is absolutely an amazing time. And the ACC website itself was full of information. And all of it was alien. It's a pretty incredible story. Right here, I'm going to take a break. And when I come back, more of your phone calls, 323-825-5045. I want to thank John Lear for coming in tonight and giving it his best shot, fighting the powers that be. We'll get him on next week. We'll have clean lines, and we'll make sure it happens. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, 323-825-5045. More of your phone calls right after this short break. Stay with us.
Listen to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter. But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Angioprim can clean blocked arteries and improve blood flow in all parts of your body. Angioprim is liquid oral chelation. It's not new science. 50 years of research has gone into chelation, and now there's Angioprim. Easy, simple, liquid oral chelation. You take it with juice before breakfast and forget about it. Angioprim works fast, unlike old-fashioned chelation that takes hours. The first thing Angioprim users say is they have more energy, more strength, more endurance. Increased circulation and blood flow will make all your body parts work better. Log on now at angioprim.com to get more information on how you can get started and start feeling better and doing more. Lots more. Talk to a trained Angioprim consultant or go to angioprim.com for help. Call Angioprim toll-free at 877-882-7221. That's Angioprim at 877-882-7221. Get the facts about Angioprim. Begin living the life you want, doing the things you used to do again with Angioprim.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRAradio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I do want to thank John Lear for giving it a shot tonight. Fighting the man. Ugh. Yeah, we got interfered with, and we did our best. But we'll get John on again next week. We will have clean lines. Okay, 323-825-5045. Phone lines are open. I want to talk about American Computer Corporation Company. If you remember the story, call in. Do you think ACC was real? Now, and what do you remember from the case? It was absolutely fascinating. And have you gone out and researched it? Have you checked it out? What do you think about ACC and Jack Schulman? And not only that, but cases like that, right? The internet is full of them. Right now, we have the flat earth. There's another really, really good example of something that is created on the net. That is, I don't know if ACC was fictitious. I don't know. I don't know if Jack Schulman was or not. I don't know. That the effort that was put behind ACC, was it? See, back in 1997, creating a website was not easy. It wasn't cheap either. And having a good website was even tougher. I went the other day, Rita and I were doing some research, and we pulled up out of the Internet Archive some old pages from CNN. I forgot that CNN actually used to look like that, right? But it was also everything at that time. So what I'm getting at is ACC had the Flush website. They had an active forum. All of the stuff was difficult to do in 1997. We all know that. So was it the product of some guys that knew how to write code, were able to get a domain, were able to publish, get it up, get an operating forum? They were part of the website, all operational. Was it just all that, just dreaming all of this up? And if it didn't relate to Colonel Corso's book and that was just a coincidence, adds to the mystery. Give me a call, 323-825-5045. A new Nazca geoglyph has been uncovered by Japanese scientists in Nazca in Peru. And it could be linked to a major ceremonial center. It measures 98 feet long. The geoglyph is located within the central area of the Nazca Pampa, a large, flat, arid region of Peru between the Andes and the coast. The line drawing is of an animal. Well, it looks like it's 2 or 3 animals to me, with many legs. That's why I'm saying it looks like many animals, spotted markings, and also it's sticking out its tongue. You want to see pictures of it? Go to our Facebook page, Jimmy Church Radio, and we've got it published there. It is nuts. You've got to check this out. And how somebody missed a 98-foot wide animal in the Nazca Plains all of these years is beyond me. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, how are you? This is Captain.
Hey, Captain, how you doing tonight?
It was good to hear John Lear, what you could hear of him.
Yeah, I know,
But,
man.
yeah,
I know. I'm as bummed as you are.
Yes, you guys are being messed with. And I do want to say this to all the listeners out there. In the science books, we're being misled. We're being lied to. Every planet in the universe is habitable. That means you can live on the planet. That means you can breathe on the planet, just like Earth. Every single planet. Okay? So people are going to be thoroughly shocked when the science books are changed, and they will be indeed changed in our lifetime. And you'll be told the truth about every single planet.
Yeah, Mars, I am so convinced. Well, okay, look, see, this is what's weird. Well, first off, I look at Mars, and I just have the feeling that things are okay there. You know, that's the way I feel. But this is what's crazy, right? We only know what they tell us, Captain. Right? I don't know anything about Venus. I don't know anything about Saturn or Uranus or Jupiter. I don't know these things. I don't know. Why? Haven't been there. Right?
Okay.
I don't know.
Right.
So they could be habitable. I don't know.
Now, here's a good example. Back in the 40s, during the time when former President Eisenhower was around, during that time, we had visitors from the planet Venus. And who visited our planet? Dr. Strange talked about this guy. His name is Valet Thor. He's real. And I'm telling you guys, the shock is getting ready to come. It's going to be a shocker for a lot of people because you're going to learn the real history and you're going to learn who you are and what you are and why the cabal is so afraid of you.
Valiant Thor is one of the most fascinating events that we have. And if it appears to me, this is how I read it. It appears to me that they were okay talking about Valiant Thor in 1960. And I'm talking about the DOD in Washington and so forth. They were okay talking about Valiant Thor. He was public. He was photographed, and apparently he lived at the Pentagon. He lived at the Pentagon in an apartment for a couple of years. Okay,
and he was human. And he was human, Jimmy, and that's the reason why you're allowed to talk about it because of the fact it didn't scare people, and that's the whole gist of all this. You know, when you get these other beings like the one that Eisenhower met, you know, the little green guys, you know, the little gray-looking beings called the Greys. You know, people tend to have a little slight fear of that. But regardless, Dr. Strange, if people get a chance, go up to YouTube and watch Dr. Strange's testimony about who Valet Thor was, and I'm telling you, it will leave you breathless because the things he talks about our future and where we're headed at. We're headed to a wonderful future, Jimmy. We really are.
Well, and the other, you know what, and you brought up a really good point, Captain, which is they were okay talking about Valiant Thor. He didn't freak out the country. He didn't freak out the world. We didn't lose our minds.
Right, because he was like us. He was exactly like us.
Well, I don't know. He was a lot better looking than I am.
Okay.
Valiant had it going on. Now, come on, you know that. He was a good-looking guy.
Yeah, Valiant Thor was a good-looking guy. Exactly right. Absolutely.
Yep. And has anybody ever tried to debunk the Valiant Thor images? In other words, say that it was this guy or this. I don't think that's ever really happened. I think
No, and you know what? I'm glad you said that because $1 million was offered to anybody who can debunk Dr. Strange's story. Nobody came forward at all. Nobody. So this tells me a whole lot who Dr. Strange was during the time when he was alive and with us. And I give kudos to Dr. Strange because apparently this man knows exactly what he's talking about. And when you look at John Lear can't even get on your program and talk about the transistor radio, because that's exactly what came out during that time back in the 70s with the transistor radio. People, I'm telling you, you're going to be shocked to learn the truth. Because your science book's about to be changed very soon.
Do you have a Fade to Black T-shirt, Captain?
Sir, I would love for you to send me one.
Well, write Rita right now. This phone call deserves a T-shirt.
Oh, but thank you. Extra large. Extra large if you can, because I like the Moo type T-shirts if you can.
If you want a 3X, we have, man, our 3Xs are big, man. You could put like 4 people in them.
Okay, well, give me the 3X. That's what I want.
You want a 3X? I'm going to send you 3X. Don't tell me it's too big.
No. I'm a 3X. And make sure it's a 3X so I can fit into it because I'm a big guy.
Okay, all right.
I'm really tall. I'm really a tall guy. I'm a really tall guy. I'm 6'4" and 294 pounds.
Oh my goodness gracious! Are you going to be going to Contact in the Desert?
No, I'm not, Jimmy. But I'm going to tell you, I'm looking forward to going to the Weesup Valley in August. I'm definitely going to be there for that.
Which one in August?
This is the Weesup Valley in California. That will be in August.
Okay, well, yeah, we're not going to be doing that conference in August. We'll be doing Roswell July 4th weekend in New Mexico. We're going to do that, and we're going to do.
That's in New Mexico. Okay. Wow, I wish I could come. I really wish I could come because I know that my schedule won't allow me to come there. I do know that.
Oh, okay.
But I'm telling you, Jimmy, I'm telling you, a lot of people on this planet is going to get a wonderful awakening about who they are and the power that each and every one of us possess. And I'm telling you, I know this for a fact because the energy levels and the frequencies are being turned up on each and every human being on this planet. And they have to do with your pineal gland. A lot of people are slowly feeling the burn or the interference between their eyes. That's the pineal gland. It's activating. Every last one of us are becoming activated. You know, and that's what's happening right now. People, be prepared. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not crazy. You're very human. You're very sane. And each and one of us are possessing these powers. Now, I do want to say this, Jimmy, because I know that somebody else want to get on the call to talk to you. We have kids right now. That are developing their powers. Some can walk through walls. Some can fly. Some have superhuman strength. That a 4-year-old boy, now I saw this for myself. I saw a 4-year-old boy lift up a Volkswagen. I witnessed that myself.
Wow.
Okay? So I'm saying to people, get ready because some changes are getting ready to come. I know that Jim Lear couldn't be heard tonight, but I'm going to speak what is the truth to a lot of people. Let them know that we are not alone. There are more beings on this planet than you care to realize. And they are here on this planet. They're 20 million strong on this planet. They look like us, but they're not us. But they're good people. And they're here to assist us. not do things for us, but to assist us so we can wake up. The people on this planet have to wake up. Once we wake up, then the teacher will appear. And that's it.
Thank you for the phone call, Captain. Don't forget to write Rita, and we'll get you all hooked up.
Okay, I have Rita's Skype information. And I'll send her the information. So you can send it to me, okay?
You got it, brother. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, Captain. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. You're live.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Eric, the realtor from L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Eric, the realtor from L.A.
Hey, you know who I'm the guy. Tell Rita I'm the guy who's got the English Bulldog, Cheesy.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Does she remember?
Well, she's in another studio.
Okay, no problem.
But
hey,
I'm sure she will. She'll text me right now and go, yeah.
Just tell her I said hi. I am one of your guys' hugest fans, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Well, looks like you're going to get a T-shirt tonight. And when you do, Eric, the next showing at the house, wear the T-shirt. And so, guaranteed sale. So there you go. Okay. So what's on your mind, Eric?
Well, okay, so I'm, on the last guy, I don't know about the walking through walls and lifting up cars. That might be possible. But what I do want to talk about is I don't think this subject is as taboo as some people are treating it anymore. I think that I do a lot of socializing. I go to a lot of, I go to a lot of different parties and stuff as part of my job. And I hear this thing being talked about all the time. I'm not going to tell you names, but I hear it being talked about all the time. And people approach me and they ask me about it. And I've been saying for years that the way I approach it when they come to me and they ask me what I think about it is I take my finger, Jimmy, I point it straight up into the sky, and I say, look at all those things. What are those things? And they say, well, they're stars. And I say, well, what is a star? And they a lot of people, they actually say, well, I don't know. And I say, well, that's another sun. Well, what do you think's floating around those things? Other planets, right?
Right.
So it's just obviously with all our space telescopes and all our tech, we're starting to see this stuff, right? We're starting to image this stuff.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I just think that this topic is going mainstream fast.
And what I find really fascinating, Eric, is I get out there and I meet as many people as I can. And certainly with this program, we interface with lots of email and so forth, phone calls, Twitter, chat rooms, and everything else. And I interface and I talk to a lot of people. And there's one thing that trips me out. When I go to a conference with a couple of thousand people there, and everybody has got their own, everybody can't be crazy. It doesn't work that way. There are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of witnesses that have seen stuff in the sky that is not an airplane, right? That's it. We need to, stop this. And as we move forward here, more and more people are talking about it and accepting that, just like you are saying right now. And that's the end. To me, that's just like the end of the story. We need to close the book on that part and just start to talk more about the science and what is really going on and what that communication has been with people that have been visiting us. And that's where I think we should be now. And I don't think we're not going to have riots in the street. We know that we're not alone. We know this.
No, we're not going to have no riot. And Jimmy, I'll tell you this. We're in L.A., right? So, we're a little more, I don't know what the word is, but, we're a little more open to things, okay? So I don't know necessarily what's going on in the rest of the country, rest of the world, but I'd be willing to bet that these conversations, they're taking place at these parties all over the place.
That's right.
I'd just be willing to bet. And I used to think I'd go to parties, and I used to think that it was, 40 and under, okay? But it's not. It's people have this inherent curiosity about it. And what I love is when I watch some of these shows and people say, or I'll listen to some of the programs like yours, and people will say, we just have this basic recognition of it from way back in our brain, way back in our conscious. Something about this thing we're familiar with. And I think that's true. And I think you'd be so happy to know, I just want to report to you, you'd be so happy to know that people are waking up to it, Jimmy. They're curious, and they're not afraid of it. And another thing about Joshua Tree, very unique place, very great place. I've owned property out there for years. I grew up out in Palm Springs. My ex-wife and kids still live in Palm Springs. And I grew up out in Palm Springs. I've owned property in Joshua Tree for years. And I've even got 5 acres out there that eventually I want to build a ranch on. And I can tell you, you go out there, you talk to enough local people, you just go sit in a cafe, or you just go hang out with some people, and they'll tell you some stories. Yeah, I know I've heard your stuff. I know you've seen some stuff.
That's right. It's a magical place, and I that one event that happened to us when we were standing out, since you know that area really well, we were out. We had a cabin in 29 Palms, right, and about 20 miles from Joshua Tree, and that area out there next to the mountains. It's very, very remote, right? And we're disconnected from everything, and just to stand out there and looking at from our patio at the cabin from where we were, it was clear desert all the way to the base of the mountains. There was nothing there, and to be standing there, and at that moment, just kind of mention it. And then to have it happen at that moment was pretty trippy. But I had the feeling that goes on every night. You know what I mean? It was just like, if you are standing out here and you're cognizant and you're conscious of it, just keep your eyes open and you're going to see something strange. And it happened to us. Joshua Tree and that area is a magical place, man. It is just pure magic on all levels.
No, I couldn't agree, and I think it's just such a wonderful fit for the event. And the other thing is, you just mentioned you started to think about it, or you talked about it, and then there it was, right? Well, okay, you had the guy from MUFON. He now does the meetups.
Steve Murillo. He was with us.
Great guest, by the way. What a great guest. And he mentioned that, if a man or a woman kind of make themselves open to the idea of it, truly open in a way where they're saying out there, hey, I'm not afraid, maybe I want to see this, odds are you might see something. And if you're out there, odds are you're probably going to see something. You talk to the locals. I haven't spent enough time out there. I've never had a sighting, but I haven't spent enough time out there to have a sighting for sure. But I just have talked to enough people out there to know that contact in the desert is being held in the right spot.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Eric. So you're going to be there this year?
I would love to be there, man. I'd love to come out there and party with you and Rita and everybody and all the Fader knots. And I am going to try to shove work aside and get myself a ticket.
Yeah, you should do that and enter the contest. Go to our website and enter the contest. We're still giving away a few tickets this month.
Will do, brother.
Okay. All right. Now, write Rita right now, and I know you know how to contact her. So just write her right now. Give us your shirt size, and we'll get something out to you.
Thanks, man. Have a great evening.
You too, Eric. Thank you so much.
All right. Good night.
That's what I'm talking about, man. I love first-time callers. Now, check this out. Mark your calendars, because in just 5 days, on May 9th, today is the 4th, on May 9th, this little planet, it's called Mercury, is going to freak you out. because it's going to move across the face of the sun. That's right. It's not going to be obvious to you because you can't look at the sun. But assuming you have access to some type of suitable astronomical equipment, you might be in luck to check it out. And it's going to happen for a couple of hours. Mercury, May 9th, is going to scoot across the sun. How cool is that? Now check this out. Janet Jackson is pregnant. Did you guys know this? Did you guys know this? Janet Jackson is pregnant. Yes, the Janet Jackson. And in case you were wondering, as I speak this, yeah, she's going to turn 50 on May 16th. Janet Jackson is pregnant. Are you listening, Rita? Janet Jackson is pregnant. Congratulations. That's all you can say to that. 50. Is there anything wrong with that? Is 50 the new 20 or something? Huh. I was just looking over and Eric tweeted, he was talking about Phil Schneider. Yeah, that kind of tripped me out with Lear. And I wonder what part of Phil's story is off. Yeah, and when that was mentioned with John Lear, I didn't look over on Twitter. I was scared. Okay, I was scared because I like Phil Schneider. And 50 is nuts. That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, 50 years old, pregnant. That John, the Phil Schneider comment took me off guard. I mean, I kind of felt it coming. There was reasons for that, but yeah, that kind of freaked me out. I didn't want to look at Twitter. I know that you guys were all reacting, so I ignored it. Prosecutors in Virginia will not charge police officers in South Boston for their part in the death of a man who was shot with a taser 20 times in 30 minutes while handcuffed and in police custody. Linwood Lambert was pronounced dead about an hour after he was taken into police custody in South Boston, Virginia on May 4th, 2013, following reports of noise and disturbance at a motel. Police decided to take Lambert, who later admitted he had used cocaine, to a nearby hospital, telling him they were not taking him to jail. When Lambert became agitated and ran out of the police squad car towards the hospital, police started, tasing him. Lambert died after about 87 seconds in total of tasing by the officers. Now, it was stated that they acted in violation of the South Boston Police Department's guidelines for taser use, given that Lambert was handcuffed the entire time. I thought we were over this stuff here in the United States, but it's still going on. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I do want to thank John Lear for coming in tonight and giving it his best shot. We were messed with, but we will make it up to everybody next week. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovar, LJ3, Renee, Mark Dunbar, Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Thank you to everyone who called in tonight. Enjoy your T-shirts. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night is Fader Night. Open lines all night long. And don't forget, John Rappaport in the No More Fake Newsroom. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Everybody be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.